Hey everybody, welcome to June 8th. I know. Oh my God. It's like all of a sudden it's the middle of the year. I feel like time, I had this discussion with India, shout out to India today. I had this discussion with India the other day, or we're talking about it a little bit, about how time doesn't seem the same anymore. Like as you're walking through this journey, it feels, in her words, slippery. I agree. I mean, like, I know that when I'm like doing this and I'm doing my readings, all of a sudden I look up and it's like 3 o'clock. And I'm like, what? It was just 8:30 in the morning. And all of a sudden it's Sunday and like days don't matter or something. Are you guys having a similar experience? I'd be interested to hear about that. Today I feel moved to talk about the tests that you will incur as you ascend, right? The tests from family and friends. I think I've talked, for some of you who only like now are, you know, part of the group and haven't watched until just recently. When I first started the channel, I talked about how I had been in the TV news business for about 15 years as a producer. I worked for NBC and for Good Morning America as a producer, which is essentially a glorified field hand. But, I mean, you're putting together the show and you're in charge of what people see. And that was an awesome responsibility. Moving over to corporate and being on a plane from Sunday night to Friday night, and finally my own agency, and really just the understanding that all of that was in the matrix. That what I was doing, I had a fierce loyalty to truth. I'm Libra rising, so this truth and justice thing worked with journalism. And with clients, I approached it as a journalistic endeavor where I'm teaching them storytelling, right? How to talk about themselves in an authentic way. The authenticity movement hadn't really even started yet, and then when that started, it was just so awesome to me that more and more I was in this wave of being yourself. And when I realized that like myself really doesn't like doing what I was doing, I left, right? I created a job that I quit. I know. And counterintuitive the whole way around, but I just knew that there was something that my life was destined to be a little more spiritual than it was, for sure. And that awareness was like, okay, but I don't really see how it works and all this stuff. And for years I was sort of like, well, how's that going to work? And how's that going to work? And then I was like, I'm just going to trust it's going to work because this is who I am. You know, I had an astrology reading about where my North Node was, and I saw that tarot, communicating hidden knowledge, was an important piece of my mission. That's what I'm here to do in this life. My past life was all about media and everything like that. And you sort of rely on those skills you already have, you're already good at, right? So when moving into something, you know, I started reading tarot in 1997. My good friend Jean Fiorini was my teacher, and she's just awesome. She is going to be at the retreat. She lives in South Portland, Maine, so she's going to join us. So I'm so excited for that, for all you guys who are going to the retreat. For those of you who aren't going to the retreat, this is like, you know, it's like the first one. It's really small because, you know, kind of on purpose. I want to see what people want, what people need. And so, we're going to do another retreat, probably in January, probably somewhere warm, and probably somewhere fabulous. So, just put a pin into that. And the retreat is all about being fiercely on your path, right? Being yourself, fearlessly, fiercely, building your life, moving forward. And I have always been a fan of active, in this journey, when we're talking about twin flames, we talk a lot about relationship, and that's why this month we're talking more about developing you, right? Because one of the things I think gets lost on YouTube and on the internet in general about the twin flame journey is that you are in process, right? You are ascending. So this is not just about waiting for someone else to come along, right? That's pretty old school. That's pretty 20th century. Waiting for someone to come along to complete you. And I know most of you are like, no, I'm not doing that, which is great. But there's a healthy group of people out there who think that the twin flame journey is just this love affair. And that is definitely the icing on the cake. But the real meat cake, the real meat of it is your own spiritual ascension, your own soulful journey, right? That's why this channel is called Soulful Revolution, because it is about a revolution of your soul. It is about shedding those things, leaving those things behind that aren't fiercely, fearlessly you. And understanding, seeing all the patterns that you might have had in your life. I know my patterns, well, I've only sort of scratched the surface on the patterns that I had in my life that were ego-based, that were, needed to be shed in order to really come into this soulful journey. So let's do a couple cards here from Gaia. I love this deck. It's so beautiful. Tony Carmine Salerno is the author and I believe, yes, the artist. He paints intuitively. I totally dig that. Here you go. This is what it looks like. And they're big cards. So I'm going to do a couple here. Eternal Dance. 1, 2, 3. Oh my goodness. Thinking of You was the last time I used this deck, which was a couple days ago, I guess. Thinking of You was the last card. This is the universe saying to you, I got you. Right? I got you. Eternal Dance. Movement, Wheel of Life, Path of Least Resistance. Boy, that is a big thing when we're doing this. I was going to say a few minutes ago when I'm on my path working at NBC or I'm doing my own agency, it was about push, right? Very masculine energy, jamming it, ramming it, being, like competitive and all of this kind of stuff, very ego-based. And what I understood to be true when I started doing this, which is more me, is how easy, how it flowed. And that's the path of abundance, right? When it flows, you don't have to push the river. You don't. You shouldn't. Don't. Just lay back in your canoe. If you guys are seeing this little smoke thing here, it's not a fire. I have rose. I'm starting to do this aromatherapy thing because of just constantly keeping your vibration high and having the scent of rose is the highest vibration. I think human beings, I was reading this the other day, human beings vibrate regularly around 65 megahertz. That's a normal. When you drink coffee or you drink Diet Coke or whatever, you go down to like 60, right? It drops you. Having rose incense or aromatherapy, rose is like 155 megahertz. So very naturally, it brings your vibration up. So I've got my rose thing here. Rose. I love it. Okay, so Eternal Dance, the Wheel of Life, Path of Least Resistance. Allowing yourself to just float down the river. I realize in 20th century, that's ridiculous. 21st century, not so much anymore. And I do think a lot of millennials get bashed because they do this naturally. They float. And a lot of baby boomers don't like that. Okay, so the lady featured on this card feels completely at one with her nature. She is in tune with the rhythm of the earth and her changing cycles. She does not resist the forces of nature, but yet moves gracefully with the wind. Though her body always sways with the wind, she is not swayed from her path, for her feet are firmly planted in the earth. She remains poised, dignified, and balanced. She has shown up in your reading today to help you loosen up and feel the rhythm of life. Wow, isn't that just what we were talking about? You will benefit greatly if you allow yourself to be a bit more flexible. Be open to new ideas. Accept that it is natural for things to change. That's a hard one for a lot of us. Do not resist life's natural flow. If the path you are on seems to be all uphill, then find another way. There are many ways to go where you want to go, so find that way that offers the least resistance. Life does not need to feel as difficult as you are making it. It is often easier to dance your way through rather than try to push your way through. Try it. I love that. Purification water. This thing is a humidifier. So purification, we're already doing that today. Oh my goodness. I love being in alignment. It's fabulous, isn't it? Okay. 32. This card signifies healing and rejuvenation, which comes as a result of emotional cleansing. In the coming days, you may experience some emotional turmoil. Deep feelings that you thought you had already dealt with or previously resolved resurface seemingly out of nowhere. Do not be concerned, for a profound healing is taking place. That's so true. And at the end of this process, you will feel better for it. The lady featured on this card emerges from the deep waters of her emotions into the light of a new day. Emotionally cleansed and rejuvenated, she is now ready to move fully into her power, free of the emotional baggage she previously carried. Look at that card. Isn't that beautiful? I don't think I showed you this one. The Eternal Dance. Very similar. Eternal Dance. Right? Eternal Dance. The next one is Harmony. All these, beautiful Gaia, beautiful women, the feminine being featured here. Oh, thinking of you. That's the masculine. Oh. It just came to me. This is all the feminine's activity right now. The masculine has shifted into a knowing about this. And it's almost like they are waiting for you to go to do what you need to do. Like holding the door open for you, which has been the other way around. And the masculine's resistance, just got used to it, and then they just slipped into this knowing. Oh my goodness. This third card is Harmony, Power, Self-Confidence, Productivity. Amen to that, girlfriend. This card heralds a period of inner and outer harmony. In the coming months, you will feel an increased sense of self-confidence, which will result in greater productivity. So going through this purification and leaving things behind that are dragging you down, now we're moving into this harmony place. It's as if you have learned the lessons to harness the primal forces of nature and are able to channel this energy in a powerful and meaningful way to achieve your goals. Your guiding stars are in harmonious alignment at present. This is a fortunate time for you, and this period will continue for several months. Be mindful of the power you have at present. Honor it, respect it, and use it wisely. What you learn at this time will help you greatly in the future. Observe your state of mind during this time, as well as your actions and how others react to you. That's something I will talk about in a second. Notice how many doors open and how many previously inaccessible paths now become clear of obstacles. All you desire comes to you with little effort, all because there is harmony in your inner space and outer worlds. Remember this in the future, for it will serve you well. I achieve my goals with ease. Thinking of you. Divine Masculine. This can be spiritually no longer offering resistance to the union. A loving thought, serendipity. This card is confirmation that someone you have been thinking of is also thinking of you. It may be someone who has passed away, or a living friend, a family member, or a loved one. Our thoughts and feelings are energy frequencies, or wavelengths that transcend space and time. We all transmit and receive information through our thoughts and feelings. It makes no difference whether someone is near or far, alive or has passed away. We are subconsciously in constant communication with those we think about and love. Having heard this, you probably imagine your thoughts traveling through space and time. However, in actuality, nothing really travels anywhere. This is because energetically or spiritually, there is no separation in the first place. We are all interconnected and ultimately one, eternally held within an ocean of divine love. I talked to a friend yesterday who gave me a beautiful little prayer. I hope I can remember it without going to get my journal because I wrote it down. Every time you think of your divine masculine, you say to the universe, thank you, universe, God, whatever you want to say. Thank you, universe, for the blessing that is his or her name. Please, please move them to reveal their heart to me. Please, their true heart. Please move them to reveal their true heart to me. You're starting out with gratitude for the blessing that is this person. This person is a huge blessing in your life. And you're asking the universe for them to come closer and reveal their true heart. Every time you think of them, ask the universe to help them reveal their true heart to you. Okay. Yes, of course. Okay, so let's do, wow, that's just, I love that deck. Let's do a read. This is the Fenestra deck. It's a little hard to see on camera, but I'm going to work with it because I like it. So, 3, 3, and 3. Let's see what's going on in the connection right now, the collective. See what's happening. Okay, okay. Ace of Wands, a fresh opportunity for passion. 2 of Cups underneath. Yay! Passion connected to love. Tower, Judgment, 3 of Swords. Seriously? World, 2 of Swords, 4 of Cups, Knight of Pentacles, Ace of Swords, another Ace, 5 of Swords. Okay, so this looks like a little bit of conflict here. Not a lot, just a little. 3 of Swords up here is a little bit, yikes. Let's see what's going on here. So Tower, Judgment, 3 of Swords. There's some awareness here that does kind of break your heart. There's some awareness. There's something new that shows up. Something new, some awareness, something is revealed. Something is revealed. King of Swords, Moon, 6 of Wands. Wow. Something is revealed. This King of Swords comes clean with the truth. We got the Ace of Swords down here. The truth of them seeing you, the truth of them that they have been trying to win. Okay, this 6 of Wands, they have wanted to win. So that's why they're quiet. That's why they've been quiet. And all of a sudden this erupts. There's a sudden change. There's a sudden change here. And though the awareness does kind of break your heart a little bit, that they, like, really, all this time, you just wanted to win? Really? Really? The other person here, it has to come through a little bit of a violent means. There's 5 of Swords here at the end. So there's a little bit of a, to shake them out of their rut. There needs to be some clarity. Yeah. Okay, good. All right. So, you have to go, the only way out is through, right? You have to go through this awareness of that your divine masculine has been no taki because they wanted to win. Because they wanted to create a situation where they were superior in some way, or where they were, it's about, okay, so let's talk about it in the reverse. They did not want to be vulnerable to you. Because they felt like that was, too much feminine energy, right? That's the energy of love, though. Vulnerability is the energy of love. They've been resisting that. Even though they have deep feelings here, the Moon, they're going to share their own heartbreak with you. This is like a mirroring thing. They're going to share their own heartbreak with you and kind of blame it on you a little bit. Like, they're not talking and they're blaming it on you. All right? So you see this, you have this experience, this Tower experience of someone coming at you. Like, well, all right, Scooby-Doo. And I would have done it if it weren't for you meddling kids, right? I would have gotten away with it. For all those of you who know Scooby-Doo cartoons, at the end of every single episode, the evil villain says that. And I would have gotten away with it if it weren't for you meddling kids. Like, that's what the energy of this earthy part of your divine masculine is. Like, to break through this silence, to break through this logjam, there has to be a burst of feelings in them, a burst of awareness in them, where they are World, Two of Swords, Four of Cups, okay? So they're bursting through this very, very stagnant energy because it's the end of that cycle. That cycle's over. You got the Tower, Judgment, the World. And then here you got the clarity of Ace of Wands, Ace of Swords. Very masculine energy here. Not so loving, not super loving or anything. There is that Piscean moon there in the middle, though. Not super loving, but actually very pointed, I want to say. Oops, this goes back this way. Ace of Swords down here. So the offer, there is this underlying one step at a time thing, Knight of Pentacles, moving the thing forward, but they're really standing still here in this moment of blast and ending of a cycle. They're really standing in the bomb crater, right? We're standing in the bomb crater, and they're like, so you want to go to IHOP for breakfast? Right? Like they're doing, they're saying something, and you're like, we're standing in the middle of a bomb crater, and you're asking me to go to IHOP for breakfast. So there's this little weird exchange, not little weird, big weird. This is big, okay? This is not small. There's some kind of conflict here that happens in order to blast you out of the old phase. And then it is like, there is this maturation process of your divine masculine. Knight of Wands, all about passion and masculine. This is very masculine. That Tower is like, you know, I love the wand. The Hierophant is like, he's got some things to learn, right? This Hierophant is a, in the Middle Ages was the only person who could read or write, okay? You had to go to the monastery and study reading and writing, and, you know, the rest of the people were pulling rocks and, you know, planting and farming and killing and, you know, whatever. But the Hierophant was the one who was teaching the acolytes here, teaching them to read and write, teaching them knowledge that moves them forward, right? Gets them, they ascend because they can read and write. Everybody else can't. And there's tremendous power in that knowledge. And so the clarity of this exchange, because they at once, first, before, as soon as they burst through this, before that they were in this Two of Swords place. Now there's Ace of Swords. And, you know, Ace of Swords, Two of Swords, Three of Swords. The knowledge that they gain from this may break your heart a little bit. Like, they may say some things that may be like, oh, wow, if I had known that, it might have been nice to tell me that. Or, you thought that about me, and that breaks your heart a little bit. You know, like, maybe they thought you cheated on them, and you didn't. Maybe they thought that you were being unfaithful in terms of loyalty, some other kind of loyalty or friendship, or they just misunderstood something you did, and that might break your heart because it was not true. But they come out the other side as the King of Wands. So celebrate, people, celebrate, because that is an elevation. Knight of Wands to the King of Wands, right? You got the King of Swords up here. They're being very, you know, But then by the end of this conversation, there's a development. There's a moving forward. By the end of this, this is a whole new cycle. Ace of Wands, Ace of Swords. So let's see blocks to love here. Not sharing feelings, not saying how happy you made me on both sides. And you may feel like, hey, I have done that. Are you kidding me? All this time I've been saying I love you, and you've heard womp, 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 womp. Or you've heard, well then, they have not seen it, okay? You have said it, they have not seen it. Four of Cups. They are so indignant because of other stuff, all right? Not just because of because of other stuff in their life, they have blocked their heart, the Two of Swords here. And there's two things here. The blocks to love could have been the overwhelming love that you have shown them didn't match the experience that they were having. So you're like, I love you. And they're like, why? Why? I'm not showing you any love. I'm not, because this is unconditional love, right? And so they have not seen this or have resisted it, but now that's over. That's over. Actions you can take here. Boy, that Tower is going to be a blast. Actions you can take. I love this. Making plans, being your empressy self. Just be your empressy self, my darlings. Or emperor self. Feminine energy. Woke dudes, being in your feminine energy here. Just do that. Just lay back and watch the clouds. Make your plans for the future. Be in your place. Open your heart chakra. If that has been the block, open your heart chakra. One more about this Tower. Oh boy. 8 of Pentacles. It's going to take some work to fix it. Okay. All right. You got time. Messages to us. Messages to the Divine Feminine from the Divine Masculine here. The World, 2 of Swords, 4 Cups. Messages to us here. What do you want to say to us? Magician. 9 of Cups. Hanged Man. This Divine Masculine is very... Achoo! Oh my God, that came out of nowhere. Look at this. You are my wish granted. I have manifested this coming together. Hanged Man, 8 of Swords. I'm still afraid of it. I'm still afraid of it. It's all in my head. I'm still afraid of it. I'm learning. I'm getting... You are way more enlightened, Divine Feminine, here. But this universe has shoved them through a portal here. So even though this is what they've manifested, you are their wish come true. Sun, 9 of Cups here. They're still afraid. The bigness of this. They're learning, though. The bigness of this is because it's, first of all, the masculine is having to do something completely counterintuitive. Like, for us as feminines, being in our feminine energy is a little more natural and a little more socially, what we've not been taught. We've been taught to get out in the world and do all this masculine stuff, but it's a little more natural for us, a little bit, I want to say. The masculines are having a little bit rougher time merging with their own feminine energy because it feels vulnerable. They feel vulnerability, and that feels like death because for thousands of years, vulnerability meant you were killed, right? If you went to sleep, you could be killed. If you weren't protected as you slept, you could be killed. So, give them a break here. But, still going on. So as they're learning, as the Hierophant is teaching them, there's something more for them to learn. What about that? There's something more for them to learn. They're getting clarity around it, though. Oh, Ace of Cups. You betcha what I just said about the vulnerability of being in love. They're truly showing their heart. Learning a new way to be in relationship. That's Hierophant. Learning a new way. All right, as we go, under the Queen of Cups here, Magician, 7 of Swords. That's not completely honest, the 7 of Swords. They stick with a lie. There's going to be sticking with some lie. They're going to stick with some lie. I'm going to sneeze again. Chew! Under the 9 of Cups, Sun here. Page of Cups. They know they're sticking with this lie. It's to protect them from you, from the bigness of this. 2 of Wands, Hanged Man here. Four Swords. So Page of Cups offering up an apology and then healing, doing healing work. That's good. Protecting themselves from the Empress. Queen of Pentacles. Aww. Okay, so that feels good to me. That feels like we're now entering a phase where at least enough of the truth is visible to you that you can be in this nurturing connection with them. Because though they've done this weird Five of Swords, Magician, Seven of Swords, sticking with a lie because they feel vulnerable, there is enough of the love because of the Queen of Cups. There is enough of the unconditional love that peeks through that they know this is where they need to be. I love this King of Wands, Ace of Cups. What they're learning is how to love. Four Swords, so Page of Cups giving an apology and then a nurturing response. A nurturing response. Have some understanding, compassion. Us having compassion for the fact that they're afraid. They're learning something brand new here. And it was rough. This was rough going. This was rough going, I'm not going to lie to you. This was a little rough. All right, so let's see here. Couple of cards. What's going on here? Attraction. Worth waiting for. Codependency. Okay. I think I said this yesterday. This codependency thing rears its head a lot. They see love being the intertwined divine masculine, divine feminine as codependency instead of, what's the opposite? Codependency, co-interdependency, right? The opposite of it. And that's why you need to be in your strength, right? So they can be in their strength and still feel love. They can learn from you, balancing your open heart chakra with being strong in yourself. That's why you guys, the divine feminine is an empress. The empress embodies all the queens. Worth waiting for. Attraction. Worth waiting for. Wow. You got 3 aces here. This is not going to be easy, my loves. But it's going to be worth waiting for. All right, my darlings. I will see you tomorrow. Ace of Cups. Just remember it. Ace of Cups. Learning how to love. Bye.